Okay, so here we are again. What I did is I went ahead and took the fuel pump off. This unscrews. What I did is I hit it with a large, I don't have the special key to remove these kind of housings. So what I did is I used a large screwdriver and I banged it sideways and just tapped it one by one. And I was able to turn it, and then once it got loose enough, I loosened it up by hand. These two here have these yellow clips, very easy to take off. You just push them back on both sides, they pop right out. I put them brand new, both sides. These pop right up. This has a little a switch, or not a switch, but a little clamp. You just push it and it pops right up. Once you remove this housing and you take the fuel pump out, there's a gasket inside. You'll see it along the fuel tank groove, part of the housing. What I did is I replaced that one because I'm thinking that that is the piece, in fact, that didn't work and was causing it to leak. Now, the codes that I originally got were PO455, which is a evap large leak detected. Typically that's a leak that can be anywhere. It's normally some sort of leak within the canister. It's a fumes leak of gas, my understanding, that can be detected by either injecting gas and seeing where the leak is coming from, or obviously doing a visual, and if you see any hoses or anything that perhaps are leaking, then you might want to repair. But that's when, in fact, it gets triggered. However, in this case, what I did is I originally, as I mentioned on before, I replaced the fuel pump, actual body of the fuel pump, because it was crooked the first time, and when I bought the truck, it was given to me that way. So I can tell you that, oh, actually I have it here. I can show you here. This is the top part. If you notice, it's extremely crooked. So this is what was inside the truck. I took the part off the actual fuel pump. It's right here. So what I did is I disconnected. I was playing with it. I was just disconnecting it. But this is what I replaced the first time. And this goes in there. That goes attached there. However, that housing is completely crooked. So because of that, it was allowing the gas to leak, which was a fume escape per se. And that's what was triggering the PO455. So what I did is I inserted the new one the first time prior to this video. And I started getting a PO456, which meant it was a small leak this time. So as I mentioned before, the reason I think I got that could have been for many reasons. One, I didn't replace the seal, the O-ring that's in there, as I mentioned. Or B, it could have been that I didn't tighten this as much as I should have, because again, I was working underneath the truck where I dropped the tank down at an angle. I barely had enough room to get in here and turn it from this side. So it was very difficult. So rather than me doing the work again, I figured, you know what, let me do this, remove the cab. I'm not removing it, I'm just putting it to the side. Much easier to work on. This is what I would recommend you do if in fact you do need this to get done and you are someone that will do it yourself. I checked back here, I didn't see any other leaks. The canister's back there, the charcoal filter or charcoal canister or whatever it's called is back there. Everything seems to be in place. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put this cap back on, tighten it up, maybe put 2 screws on it, make sure there's no leaks. If there's no leaks, then that should mean there are no codes. And if there are no codes right now, it drives perfectly. I mean, it fires up perfectly. Okay, I don't see anything squirting out. I don't see anything leaking. I'm going to leave it running for a while, but I don't see any problems. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to connect just to make sure that there are no issues. And here it is, OBD2. Let's do that. And let's read the codes, and there are no fault codes. So obviously, I had erased the codes prior to doing this. However, I did drive the truck for about 40 miles, and the code never came back. So before it did come back, I wanted to make sure that I fixed this because I did notice the gas leak. Now, here's something interesting that I didn't mention before. In order for a PO456 code, in order for a PO456 code to be, how could I put this, to be read on an OBD2 is, in fact, it has to do with certain factors. One of them, your tank has to be less than 88% full. If your tank is less than 88% full, then that PO456 will be detected, and it will trigger it. It will send it to your brain, to the brain of the car, and it will let the brain know that there's a fault, and then you will receive it on the OBD2. Now, the second factor to that is it has to detect the leak once the truck is off. And once it's off, it has to be done 2 times in a row, meaning that it needs to detect it 2 times or twice after you shut off the car. So it wants to make sure that it actually does exist because it's such a very small leak that is very difficult to find. So it has to be detected twice. If it detects it twice and your tank is less than 88% full, then you will get that code, PO456. If it's not 88% full and it's 99 or 98% full, chances are it's not going to detect it. So the reason I'm saying all this is because I mentioned that I had driven it for 40 miles. I drove it for 40 miles, but I had my tank full, which was another reason why I didn't want to tilt this tank and drop it down as I did the first time, because it is completely full. And I don't know if you know, but these tanks do not have a drain plug. You cannot drain gas out of the gas tank either. There's a stopper at the beginning of the neck that prevents you from sticking in a tube or some sort of pump or anything to drain the gas out. So it makes it very difficult. But there is a full tank on this thing, so it never triggered the code back. My thing is, I just want to make sure that this thing does not start leaking before I put the cab back on. That's my main concern, which I do not think it is. So I'm going to let it build up some pressure and see if it starts leaking. It was leaking before, very, very small. And that's the reason why I went for the second attempt here to get it fixed. The first attempt I wasn't too successful because, again, I dropped the tank and I didn't have that much room. So I don't see any leaks. If I do, I will upload a video showing that it's still leaking, and maybe I could troubleshoot it a little bit more and let you guys know what I think might be the problem. Otherwise, if this is the last of the video that you see on my page, then chances are the problem was fixed. So all I'm gonna do is just drop this cab back on, drop it back to its normal place, and put the screws back in, and we'll be in good shape. Guys, I know I talk a lot. I just want to make sure I covered everything. Again, I did this video because I was on YouTube trying to find something about this, trying to find a way to get to that gas tank. There's nothing. I mean, there's the newer videos. I do thank everybody that uploads their knowledge and their experiences. There's other videos on newer Tacomas on how to change a gas tank and stuff like that, but I needed to know, or the older Tacomas, I saw plenty of the 04s. This is the 05, so it's a newer model. I needed to know what to do, and if this helps anyone that's having problems out there with the same type of problems or the same issues with the OBD2 reader, same codes, PO455, PO456, that is definitely something to check. It's very simple because once you step out of your car, you'll be able to smell the gas because it's so close to you. I mean, you got your cab here, you got your gas tank right here. There's a groove here. You're able to even look in here and see your gas tank and make sure there's no leaks. So hopefully this works. It might end here. If you don't see me on another part of this video, then chances are everything got fixed. God bless, and I'll see you on the next one.